Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our epic journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the 4th round of the 1962 season, the French Grand Prix. It was held on the 8th of July, it had 22 entries, 17 of them took part in the race with 7 having to retire. The race consisted of 54 laps, completed in 2 hours, 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Jim Clark started the race from pole with Graham Hill in 2nd, McLaren 3rd, Brabham 4th, Surtees 5th and Gurney started from 6th. After a fantastic drive, Dan Gurney swooped into the lead to win the French Grand Prix. Tony Max finished in 2nd, he was 1 lap down. Richie Ginther crossed the line in 3rd, he was 2 laps down. McLaren finished 4th, he was 3 laps down. John Surtees came home in 5th, he was also 3 laps down. And rounding off the top 6 was Godin de Beaufort, who was 3 laps adrift as well. Here we are at the fantastic Rouen circuit, where a lap starts off with a short sprint down into turn 1, a fast right-hander. Turn 2 is next, and this is a high-speed left-hander. Careful through here as you might need to lift a bit. This is followed by another fast right-hander, then we come into turn 4, a blind left-hander, which is followed immediately by a very tight right-hand hairpin. Make sure to brake early as you're going downhill and you'll need more room to slow down. Next we come into a fast right-hander as we climb up the hill now. Then we come into a medium-speed left-hander, this takes us into a slow-speed left-hander, and from here the track opens up a bit as we come through a fast right-hander. Eventually we come into a long high-speed right-hander, this is flat out and it takes us onto the longest straight of the track. This ends with a tight right-hander, brake hard and keep it steady. Finally we come through the last corner of the track, a fast right-hand sweeper that brings us back around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the Rouen circuit. And here we are in qualifying, where I made a bit of a mistake on my first flying lap. Well, a bit of a big mistake actually. I lost control of the car coming into this left-hander, but eventually I made it around and posted a time of 2:27.105. Obviously I wasn't very happy with that, so I wanted to improve, and the very next lap I improved a lot, almost 10 seconds, to 2:17.441. However, after this I couldn't keep up the speed anymore, and that's pretty much it for the qualifying. So there we have it, and here we are in France. We have a very beautiful day. Hopefully it will stay that way. Actually it will. I know that for a fact. And here are the previous French Grand Prix winners. Last time we've been here in Rouen was in 1957, so quite a long time ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do here today. And we are ready for the grid lineup. We have de Beaufort on pole with Higgs in 2nd, so quite a good qualifying I would say. Graham Hill 3rd, John Surtees 4th, Dan Gurney 5th, Bruce McLaren rounding off the top 6. Phil Hill is in 7th, followed by Richie Ginther in 8th. Then we have Jim Clark in 9th and Lorenzo Bandini in 10th. They are followed by Tony Max in 11th and Trevor Taylor in 12th. 13th is Joe Bonnier. 14th, Ricardo Rodriguez, Maston Gregory 15th, 16th is Giancarlo Baghetti, Joe Siffert is 17th, 19th Willie May Rees, and bringing up the rear we have Ines Ireland and Jackie Lewis in 19th and 20th respectively. So that is the grid lineup for the 1962 French Grand Prix. Hopefully it will be a good race. Last time when we were in Belgium we did pretty well. We managed to make it all the way to the end. We retired on the final lap unfortunately, so I'm hopeful that this time we will do a little bit better. We are off, and I tried to get in front of de Beaufort, but I couldn't really. He then kind of blocked me coming into turn 1. However, I'm trying to keep as close to him as possible as we come through this left-hander. You need to be quite careful through there because you might need to slow down a little bit depending on your car. And coming out of turn 3 here, I rush past de Beaufort as we come through turn 4 now. Brake very early here, slow down the car, and then take it through the hairpin. But we are now back in the lead. Hopefully we can pull away from the rest of the grid quite easily. And here is a replay of the start. A bit of wheel spin on my end, but that's pretty normal in this period of Formula 1. So here we are coming through turn 1. I was trying desperately to get close to R.04 and tried to overtake him. Thankfully it did happen eventually, but I could have had a better start there. Obviously I could have avoided all the problems. And here is a replay of Innes Ireland in his lay stall. He's coming into this left-hander, this very dangerous left-hander, blind left-hander. We see him there in the background. He lost control of the car, and actually what happened, his suspension collapsed. And anyway, we now come back to the race. I lost control of the car there, touched the outside of the track, which slowed me down and allowed three people to overtake me. So we are now down in 4th with John Surtees right behind me. So we need to try and pull away. However, Surtees loses control of his car, and here is a replay of that. He loses control of his car and goes off the track, hits that fence there, and decides to retire after this. So that's the end of his race, and we now move on to lap 2. And again I lose control of the car coming into this tight left-hander. I'm not quite sure why, but that slows me down and drops me down into 7th place, so not very good. Having quite a bit of difficulty controlling the car around here. Then coming towards the end of lap 2, I brake early because I had to, and it looks like the Ferraris have better brakes, and because Lorenzo Bandini managed to outbrake me into that final corner. So we are now down in 8th, unfortunately, but again I'm hoping that we can do well. And we just started lap 3 now, and I again make a mistake, go wide, touch the grass, and Joe Bonnier now moves past me. We are now down in 9th, and then as we are coming into the final corner, my brakes just didn't want to work for some reason, and I ended up overshooting the hairpin, so I had to go all the way around now and lost a whole bunch of positions. We are down in 14th, chasing after Jim Clark in the Lotus with right in front of us. And then as we come through this fast right-hander, my engine once again decided to give up, and this is starting to be quite annoying. This is the 4th race in a row where my engine just decided to give up, and here is a replay of that. I'm chasing after the Lotus, and there we have it. White smoke pouring out of the rear of my car, and that's the end of the race for Andy Higgs, unfortunately. And yes, it is starting to be very, very annoying. And here is a replay of Trevor Taylor, who loses his brakes coming into the penultimate corner. Unfortunately, he hits Gregory and takes him out as well. And here's a replay of looking at Gregory. Taylor is right behind him. He tries to brake. Obviously, he cannot stop his car because his brakes didn't work anymore. Crashed into Gregory, and now they're both out as well as we are. So yeah, another disappointing race for Andy. I really don't know what to say about this. This is quite frustrating. Anyway, on lap 5 we see Bruce McLaren going very, very wide, and that is because he also lost his brakes. So that's the end of his French Grand Prix. And now we are on lap 8. We're looking at Joe Siffert, who loses control of his car through this fast right-hander. I'm not sure how you could lose control of the car through that there, but alas, here it is. We see it with our eyes, and he hits the wall and decides that that is over for him. We now move on to the end of lap 10 as we see Dan Gurney coming around to set the fastest lap of the race, so congratulations to him, I guess. Then on lap 13 we are looking at Graham Hill, who has a suspension problem, and we see him coming into the hairpin, and he goes pretty much straight ahead and crashes into a tree there. Moving on to lap 15 now, and we are looking at Tony Max, who also has a problem with his suspension. He tries to brake, but, well, hits the wall and then loses his front left. Then we move on to lap 15 now. We're looking at Jackie Lewis, who unfortunately runs out of fuel and he has to pull to the side. And he was just a few meters away from the pit entrance, so that's quite a bummer. And here is a replay of Phil Hill on the final lap. He's just seconds away from the finish line and he also runs out of fuel. So that's quite disappointing for him. As we now have a look at Dan Gurney, who is coming around to take the win of the French Grand Prix. Congratulations to him. So not only did he post the fastest lap, but he did in fact manage to win the French Grand Prix as well. So that's very good thing for him. And here are the results. Gurney wins, Meiri's second, Bonnier third, fourth Bandini, fifth Baghetti, sixth Rodriguez, and there are 4 other people who finished the race. And here are the retirements. Once again, unfortunately, we number ourselves among them due to that engine failure. That's the 4th time this season and it's starting to become quite annoying and frustrating. But anyway, here are the career statistics, and this was Andy's 106th Grand Prix. His best start is from first, has 8 pole positions, has set 16 fastest laps, his best finishes in first, has completed 72 races, 57 of them in the points, has won 35 Grand Prix, 4 at the Indianapolis 500, 6 in Monaco, has 7 championships under his belt, has scored a total of 388 points, has retired 34 times, has experienced 2,354 out of 2,889 laps, has 6 bronze trophies, 9 silver trophies, 35 gold trophies, and as an extension, 35 podiums. And here is a quick look at the championship standings. Dan Gurney and Bruce McLaren sharing the lead at the moment, both on 15 points. Phil Hill is 3rd, Bandini 4th, Clark, Meiri's and Baghetti fighting for 5th. The last person to score points is Joe Siffert down in 13th. We are down in 19th and Maston Gregory is bringing up the rear of the standings. So those are the driver standings, not much more to say about that. So let's move on to the constructors now. And here Ferrari take the lead of the Constructors Championship. Porsche move up into 2nd, Cooper drop down to 3rd, Lotus are 4th, Bowmaker, Yeoman are 5th, Ecurie Galois in 6th. The last team to score points are Scuderia Filippinetti in 8th, and unfortunately Brabham Racing are still at the bottom of the standings. So that was the French Grand Prix. Once again, another very disappointing race for Brabham and Andy. And I think I kind of know what's happening here. Basically, the engine is overheating. In modern cars, that wouldn't be too much of a problem because you would just open up the air intake a little bit more. Of course, that would have an impact on speed, but you would have better cooling for the engine and therefore prevent the engine from overheating. However, back in these early days, that wasn't a possibility. You couldn't do that, and it is actually kind of simulated in the game as well. So I have a set opening for the air intake, which means that my engine will overheat no matter what I do. The only thing I could do really to stop this would be to turn on invulnerability, which in my opinion that would be cheating, so I'm not going to do that. But anyway, that was the French Grand Prix. Once again, a very disappointing race for both Brabham and Andy. Unfortunately, there's some sort of a problem with the simulation, it would seem, and which causes my engine to overheat very, very quickly and ending my races, which means that I'm going to retire from every single race this season. There's no way around it, especially because I do not want to turn on invulnerability. I consider that to be cheating and I don't want to do that. Anyway, our next race is the British Grand Prix, once again at Aintree, and this is going to be the last time we will be racing there. That's very unfortunate because Aintree has huge historical importance in British motorsport and especially British Formula 1. It was a very, very important circuit. But yeah. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Once again, not much more to add to any of that. You saw what happened. I kind of explained it. I hope I did it in a way that everyone can understand why this is happening. But anyway, Don't forget to vote for next season's team, link is in the description. I also have a second channel where I will be playing all sorts of different games. At the moment I'm doing a playthrough of Diablo 2 and Homefront, so if you're interested in any of those games, there will be a link in the description to my second channel as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.